What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and we are playing a casual duel, and we're using Hieratics. And this is a pretty good hand. Hopefully, our opponent doesn't, make a million negates for us to play through. That'd be unfortunate. Ah, they're playing Meklords. Okay, this is cool. I've actually wanted to see the new Meklords in action, and I didn't know how to really approach the deck. Um, so I'm quite interested to see how they do that. Okay, that's the searcher. Oh, it's also a 1-for-1 target and gets its search effect off of special too. Alright, and they search. They're going off. 4,000 attack. This says okay, if it's a special summon, you can check each tribute negate activate. That would destroy cards. Okay. The first thing we need to do, Erratic Seal of Conviction. We're gonna grab another one. We do not plan on activating any cards that would actually destroy for them to do that. So we're going to play around that effect as best as we can. As the goal here. Alright, so from the deck, we're going to throw out this. Then we're going to special summon another Sue. And we're going to throw out Red Eye's Black Dragon. Next up, we're going to use Dragon Ravine. And we're going to discard our last Labradite Dragon, or our one in hand. And we're going to send Tempest. Now, we are going to play the king. Let's detach Stu. And we are going to summon this, I guess. I haven't normal summoned yet. So we're going to normal summon this without tributing. We're going to link these two away. We're going to use Tempest. And we're going to summon this. So it is a play extender. And we're going to make Big Eye. We're going to make this. We're going to detach with Big Eye, and we're going to target this. Try to take this. Chaos Infinity. Okay. Fine. So now we go battle. This is going to attack over this. Okay. And then we're going to attack over here. Deal as much damage as we possibly can. Sure. Have the guard dragon. But I think what we're going to do is just end the turn. If they get rid of Big Eye, we have access to another rank 7. Which would just be Flare Metal Dragon. We didn't really put in too much. Because the rank 7 pool, while it used to be very good, is kind of like lacking nowadays. It's just something that like Konami hasn't really kept up with, in my opinion. But as far as like ranks go, I would say 4, 8, and like 3 are probably the best. Our opponent's gonna summon that. Gonna have the attack of their own Granul. probably gonna attack over right here, right? Okay, so they're gonna do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate this effect. We're gonna tribute this, and we're gonna put this back in hand. Um, we're gonna summon prominent, or because they can attack over this if they want, but this summons itself back at like just from us detaching for Big Eye, for example. We detach for Big Eye to take this. We can just summon that back. So that's pretty cool. I definitely probably should work on my extra deck monsters a little bit more and add more links. But you know, whatever, that's fine. We're gonna do this. Target that to take it. This effect, it's gonna pop it. That's okay. We kind of didn't want that to resolve anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this effect, and we're gonna summon this, and then we're gonna normal summon, and we're gonna normal summon another copy, and I think what we do is we're gonna do this, even though we don't have that, but that's okay. And then we're gonna link for this. Okay. Put these back. This effect. Summon this. This effect. We're gonna summon Red Eyes Black Dragon. Tempest. Yeah, this is what I was like. This deck is really cool. Uh, there's problems with it, and I'll get into it when I go over the deck profile. But this deck can do a lot of really cool things. As you can see, it can like summon a bunch of monsters and all that. And if that's your jam, then I would recommend you checking out Hieratics. But if you're not really into this and you kind of like a controller game, they do have some like control cards that I can show. Um, but we'll get into that, like I said, with the deck profile. They have a well, I don't have the in the deck. But they have a counter trap that lets you negate anything by tributing a heretic. And yeah, that's the game. It's really cool to see Meklords and people trying them out because of the new support. But I believe they still have the downside of they need to be up against like the right matchup and against like a lot of synchro decks, and even then it might not be strong enough. But anyway, let's jump into the deck profile. We got one copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon, two copies of Labradorite Dragon. We need the normal monsters in the deck because the Hieratics throw out specifically normals, except for Atom. Red Eyes Darkness Metal is still a good card, even if it is a hard once per turn now. Uh, Tempest is for the rank 7 plays, and it's just a free monster, basically. Because if our deck is going off as it's intended, what this card allows us to do is it's basically a play extender, and so we don't mind banishing our Hieratics and stuff like that. The only thing we don't want to do is we don't want to banish our normal monsters because our Hieratics summon out from the hand, deck, or graveyard when they're tributed, so that's very important. Next up, we got Sue. Sue is also a play extender. You tribute it by summoning, or you can special summon it, and it's a unclassified effect. So what does that mean? Well, in slang Yu-Gi-Oh terms, that means it's an inherent summon. So tributing is technically a cost, even though, and it's not an activated effect. But it also has the ability that you can tribute a Heretic except for itself to pop a spell or trap card your opponent controls, and then all the Hieratics that we're playing, not all of them have this effect in the whole archetype, but all the ones that we're playing have this effect that if they're tributed, you can special summon a dragon type normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, but their attack and defense become 0. So that's why we're playing but that's why we're playing these cards and everything. That's why we're playing the normal monsters because of that. So I'm not going to go over that last one, is tributed effect. And also, that's a mandatory effect, so it can never miss timing, even though it's a win. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Tefnet, this is kind of our starter card. This is the ideal starter card. and that's because it's a cyber dragon. So what that means is that if your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can special summon this card. And that's kind of where you want to be at, is you want to special summon this card. Like I said, this is our like starter card, and it's really good. And it also has the tribute effect. This one, I know a lot of people, when Hieratics were people would play this deck a little bit more. This card never really quite made the cut, and the reason why is because it's a level 5. But I play it because it's a good like a middle card, and I'm not playing it, but this card allows you to go into Star Eater pretty easy with Labradite Dragon if you wanted to do that. So uh, this also summons itself by tributing Hieratic monster, and it has the tribute effect. That's why it's really in here, and that's why I like the card. So yeah, you can also tribute a monster, a Hieratic card, monster from your hand or side of the field to destroy a monster. That's also, I found, pretty good, because there's sometimes where you're gonna summon like Tefnuit, you're gonna have another Tefnuit in hand, and then maybe another Hieratic. So what you're gonna do is you can use this to pop the Tefnuit in hand, and Tefnuit will still get its effect and all that. So you'll have multiple level 6s out, and you can make plays that way, or you can do what I did and summon out Red Eyes. It's a really good card, I think, and so is this one. This one is our second starter card, and that's because you can normal summon this without tributing, and its downside is its attack becomes. But the next important thing about this card, and why this card and Tefnuit, opening those two cards while you're going second is still a good play, is because you can target a level face-up dragon normal monster, and all Hieratics that are currently face-up on the field become the current level until the end phase, and it also has a tribute effect too. So this is also one of your starters, and it's also a really good card because of that. So we got Lightning. Lightning is just here to summon out Tempest, and we don't really care if our monsters get discarded for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty much why it's in here, and it's better to just run 3 ofs if you can, and it's also because it's better than most of the other options, if I'm being honest. But next up, we got 3 prominences. We're playing this. We're not playing the other one, because the other one I don't really like as much. But Prominence, I think, is a pretty good card, and it kind of lets us, extend our plays a little bit more. And however, I should probably mess with the extra deck a little bit more to be more link focused because I'm doing this. But yeah, I think it's good. Guard Dragon in World Trials Guard Dragon is in here because we are playing normal monsters, and so it can be a play extender, as we saw earlier. So we had Red Eyes, right, and we had Tempest. Um, if we actually link away our Xyz monsters, which we didn't do, and all that, you can go into more plays and stuff like that with it, which is why it's here. Um, and our ending board, if we're forced to go first, uh, usually is gonna end up looking like a Photon Strike Bouncer and a Heavenly Hieratic Seal, which isn't great, or it's gonna look like an Ultimate Tolzoken and a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, depending on what we have, which is a little bit better. But this card allows us to, if we have a Hieratic Seal, if they target our linked monsters, we can discard and save it. That's pretty good. And yeah, we are running 1 copy of Feather Duster in the main deck. That's because this deck is designed to this is kind of designed more for a best of 1 format. But if you for best of 3, I'd probably move this to the side deck and a few other cards and play like Ash Blossom if you wanted to make the deck more competitive. You definitely want to play Ash Blossom in the deck. 3 of Hieratic Seal of Conviction or Convocation. This is a search card that's not a hard once per turn. You play 3 of it. Okay, so the next card is good and bad at the same time, and we're going to talk. So, Celestial Observatory is place 1 level 6 from your hand or face up on the field to the bottom of the deck, then draw 2 cards. This card is good because it's draw power, and when you flood out on your Hieratics and your Labradite Dragons, you this. The bad side, the bad part about this card, if they Ash Blossom it, you are going to lose. And that's just how it is. You went so minus for this card. So that's the really downside. Yeah. Anyway, next up we got Upstart Goblin, a little bit more consistency. You could probably add Call by the Grave here in this slot if you really wanted to. Foolish Burial, similar thing. It's mainly to send Tempest, but it can also send Guard Dragon and Promenance. So those are also good cards to send. Reborn is a play extender. You know Monster Reborn. It's just a good card. And Heretics don't actually have a Monster Reborn or a built-in Monster Reborn into their archetype. So we're playing Monster Reborn as it, because without it, all we really have is Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Now, this card is the best draw card in the deck if you're going first or second, really, and you fail to OTK. So if you're going second and you don't OTK them, Super Rejuve is nuts, because it guarantees that you're not gonna lose advantage. So what does Super Rejuvenation do? During the end phase of this of the turn that this card is activated, you draw number of cards equal to the combined number of dragon monsters that you discarded or distributed from your hand or field this turn. This is a super old card that came out way before Hieratics were even a thing, and way before Dragon Rulers were even a thing. This card actually spent a lot of time on the Forbidden list because of the Dragon Rulers. Now, what does this card do for us? Well, all the Hieratics that summon themselves, they tribute. So that counts towards this. Okay? Tempest or Lightning right here. You discard a dragon, summon Tempest. That's 2 dragons because you discard it itself. If you discard oh, that's not a discard, that's a send. This is also a send. But that's kind of the whole idea, is you discard, maybe use Tempest or Lightning to discard like one of these, and then start play your Tempest maybe, and then start going off with your other Hieratics or something like that. And then you get to draw a bunch of cards at the end of the turn to make sure that you don't lose card advantage, and that's what this card allows you to do. We got 3 copies of Dragon Ravine, and Dragon Ravine is a great card. You just discard a dragon. You can discard any card, but with Super Rejuve, if you have a handful of dragons and like maybe, okay, so in your opening 6, because you're probably going second, maybe you have Dragon Ravine, you got Super Rejuve, Tefnuet, Eset, and then Lightning, and maybe Promenance. You can like draw a bunch of cards. But that's cool. Also this basically just gets Tempest. If you don't have Lightning in your hand or whatever, you can just use this to discard one of your other dragons to get Tempest in the graveyard because it summons itself in the graveyard. Alright, now onto the extra deck. So the thing about this deck is because it is because of it summons out any normal dragon monster, it's quite flexible on what you can do for your builds. So there's a rank 8 build that's probably a little bit better than this. There's the Ultimate Tolzokin build, which I threw in here just for fun because I'm running enough spells to like set and get its effect. And there's the rank 6 focused build. There's a ritual build and all that with this deck too. But the Ultimate Tolzoka build focuses on getting Ultimate Tolzokin out, and then you setting your spells and stuff like that to get your monsters out, like Crystal Wing and Stardust and stuff like that. But yeah, Crystal Wing is the best target for Ultimate Tolzokin at this current time of me recording this video still. I play in Blacklight or Black Rose Moonlit Dragon just because it's pretty good in general. So because I'm going the rank 7 build, I threw in a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. And that is mainly just because you can it's kind of like after you make your plays and stuff like that, you go into this, and then if you fail to OTK, this can usually burn through them a little bit more. Um, Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, is actually a must-have in this deck if you are even playing the rank 6 build, because you throw this on top of any rank 6 monster you have in material, and you transfer the material. So, and it inflicts piercing. It's just a piercer, but it's actually really important for the deck, and we'll get into why once I summon a Tom, or once we get to a Tom. But Big Eye is just like one of the best rank 7s, is why it's in here. It steals the monster until that monster leaves the field. The only downside is the Big Eye itself can't attack, even though the monster can. Um, Utopia Beyond. So since I have 6s in here, this was actually like one of the better 6s. Surprisingly, there aren't really too many good rank 6s. So Utopia Beyond is probably it for like the better rank 6s. And it helps the OTK a lot more and stuff like that. Photon Strike Bouncer is also uh up there because it negates any monster effect. Doesn't destroy the monster, unfortunately, but it does inflict a little bit of burn damage. So if you're going first, you might be ending on like a board of Strike Bouncer and Crystal Wing, depending on your hand, or just Strike Bouncer. If you have the option of Strike Bouncer and Crystal Wing, go for Crystal Wing, obviously. Um, Another card that you can run, by the way, with Ultimate Tozoken is Void Ogre Dragon, but I only recommend that if you're constantly getting imp-handed. Void Ogre says that if you have no cards in hand, once per turn when a spell or trap card is activated, you can negate the activation and destroy it. So, um, yeah, but that's kind of what you want to do. So this is why we're running Gaia, because this card cannot attack the turn you activate its effect, but it doesn't say that you can't attack, period. So you just throw Gaia on top of it and it negates all the downside. But what does this card do? Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card to special summon any dragon monster from your deck, and you make its attack and defense 0. You don't lose its effect. You can't it's you don't lose the ability to attack with every monster. You just It's just that the monster doesn't have its attack. But that's okay, because what we're gonna do with it, we're gonna summon Red Eye's Darkness Metal, for example, out of the deck, and then we're gonna use its effect to summon out maybe one of ours from our graveyard, probably our detached material, and then we're gonna link summon with it into our Hieratic stuff, or a Hieratic Sphere, or something else. That's something we can do. What this deck used to run is it used to actually run Flammable, Guard Dragon, and that is because of they could go into Star Eater with uh, Red Eyes Darkness Metal, but we're not running it because we don't need to. And Star Eater kind of is a little outdated what it does, but this card is very, very good. And if you're wondering why we're running 2 of it, it's because it's an extra deck slot. It's not a main deck slot, so we don't need to worry about seeing it. But having 2 is nice. Next up, Skull Dread, just because we are running one of the guard dragons, and this kind of helps. This makes it easier. Uh, we also are running the Hieratic Seals. This card is just good disruption. Pistede is the summon back our dragons and continue playing, and then of course Striker. But that's gonna do it for this video. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday! And if you want to send me any cool deck profiles or replays, possibly on Hieratics, you can show me any of the kind of builds that you want to show me. Whether it be a ritual focused one, a Tilzaya focused one, a more rank 6-ish focused one, rank 8, maybe you get a little bit interesting and you throw rank 5s in there. That'd be kind of interesting. Maybe if you show me a link focused one, that could also be cool. But, and of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.